Hey, good morning, all of my wonderful Facebook peeps. It's Coach Bill Pipes coming at you alive, excited, full of energy, and as always, today, level 10, no apologies. Sorry about the little bit of delay. We had some technical difficulties this morning on Facebook, but here we are, none the same, talking about one of the most exciting things in the world, the numbers. I personally love the numbers as a coach, love the numbers as a business owner. We're going to be talking about them today. Now, today's call is probably going to go about 30 minutes rather than the full 1 hour. And we're going to boogie. I'm going to give you guys a lot of great stuff that you can work with on your coach and some things to think about as well, too, in terms of the numbers. So, my friends, do me a favor. Check in right now. Heart it up. Let me know that you are here, that you are alive, that you are excited, that you are full of energy and ready to rock and roll, so I can see all of your wonderful faces and your wonderful comments as well, too. So, I've been engaged in this great game of coaching. There's all those beautiful and wonderful hearts. I've been engaged in this great game of coaching since I was 24 years old, guys. So, well over 20 years. What's up, David Grant? What's up, Ian? How are you? Excellent. Let's rock and roll. Love it, love it. And, it's really interesting when we look at the numbers that are being tracked inside the ecosystem. There's a challenge that, fundamentally we have as agents in tracking numbers. And, in our own community of our core clients, of our elite clients, there is about 40% that actively are tracking the numbers. And there's 60% of our clients, of all of you that I'm talking to right now, they're like hit and miss. Right? Some days you do it, some days you don't. You have a challenge with it. There's that old adage of, being numbers challenged, since we're all, large portion of us are artists. And I want to dig in today to some of the reasons why tracking the numbers are important, right? Number one. Number two, I want to talk to you a little bit in terms of indicators, how numbers are indicators for your business in terms of where you can work and what you need to put attention towards. And then I want to give you some key ratios that I think that you need to be aware of, and also your coach needs to be aware of as well too. What's up, Kofi Narte? Great to see you, man. Thank you for moving your call so that this one could actually take place, my brother from another mother. So when I say numbers, when I say track, measure, monitor numbers, I'm just curious, what comes up in your head as a business owner, as a real estate agent, right? Like, what is that automatic relationship, that drunk monkey conversation that you have when it comes to tracking and measuring numbers? Just give me some comments really quick. I want to hear what you guys think of when you hear the word numbers when it relates to your business. I'm going to give you guys a second so I can see just sort of, what your perception is, what your, hallucination, if you will, is of the numbers. And I'll wait. There's always that great Facebook lag, right? As they start to come in, we will start to talk about them. Math. Yes, it is math. Absolutely. Heidi says, the calls I'm not making. Yeah. David Bemis. What's up, DB? Yes. Yuck, he says. Brian Olivard says accountability. Rebecca White, too busy, not enough time, may not compare well to others. Yeah. Okay. Susan McDermott, I have to clean off my desk and make check marks. My production and gross commission, cost per lead, absolutely. What's the right number? I think that's a big one, Leanne, right? What is the right number, which I'm going to give you guys here today as well, too. Well, guys, as coaches, you got to understand something. We have a commitment to all of you, right? Tom, myself, all of our 164 coaches. And that commitment is this, that we coach you based upon the numbers. Now, why is that so critical? Why is coaching you based upon the numbers so critical? Well, there's two types of ways for a coach to work with you. Number one is what we call qualitative, right? And qualitative is based upon your own personal perception. When I say your own personal perception, I mean what you believe as the client, what you believe as the agent is happening in your business. Now, there's a challenge with qualitative analysis of a business. The challenge with qualitative analysis of a business is this, my friends, is that it depends upon you. your perception, your idea, how you're feeling that day. And all of those variables can skew the perception, right? And so if we as a coach are coaching you based upon your qualitative analysis of your own business, we may get a misread, right? Now think about that, right? You may think X, Y, Z is going on in your business, but unfortunately, because you don't know what you don't know, your perception may be off. So, there's two ways to coach. Number one is qualitative. Number two is quantitative. Quant, right? We make decisions based upon data, right? And I want you guys to write this down, right? I want you to write down numbers are the language of business. Numbers are the language of business. I learned that from one of my mentors years and years ago. And how tracking the numbers allows you as a business owner, us as business coaches, to truly be able to support you at the highest level possible is when you track and measure your numbers, then you report them to us as your coach, and you keep track of them for yourself. Then we're making decisions, we're coaching you based upon data, right? Black and white. It doesn't rely upon your perception, doesn't rely upon how you feel that day, doesn't rely upon what you know. It relies upon the numbers, and the numbers never lie, my friends. Okay. So, and they are the language of business. So we were starting off this whole conversation understanding that numbers, number one, are the language of business. And number two, there's two ways for us to coach you: qualitative, quantitative. Quantitative always works a little bit better. And all of us have this challenge, right? What's up, Mr. TJ Holman? Good to see you, man. We all have this challenge with numbers. In fact, I think that a lot of individuals are scared of the numbers. They're scared because, as other people have said, how do I compare with other individuals? Well, I'm going to tell you guys this, all right? You should never compare your inside of your business to your outside perception of what's going on in someone else's. The numbers are only for you. They're not for comparison, right? Even though we're all highly competitive, they're designed for you to be able to actually improve faster, for you to have breakthroughs quicker, and ultimately to reach your goals with less variance up and down. How many of you would love to be able to A, get to your goal faster, B, get there with less variance up and down, and C, do it in a way where there's less frustration? Just heart it up if that's something that you're interested in, just so that I can see. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Scotty Compa, my brother. Love you, man. Numbers matter. Talk about Tom Toole and his Speedo. Yes, they are good accountability. We may even talk about that for sure. So I've got some notes here that I want to go over with you. And I just want you to write these down if you would, please. Okay? Because there's some benefits, obviously, in terms of the numbers. Number one, here's what I notice. Numbers, I want you guys to write this down. Numbers remove emotion out of the business and out of coaching. They remove the emotion, right? You're looking at it no longer from an emotional standpoint. You're looking at your business from a black and white analysis-based format, right? And why is that a benefit to you? Well, the more emotion you have in the business, then the more energy that it just simply takes. Right? The more emotion you have in the business, the more you burn out. The more emotion you have in the business, the more frustration you actually feel. And so the numbers help us as small business owners. That's really what we all are. We're all SBAs, right? Small business, or SBOs, small business owners. The numbers give us the ability to be able to take the emotion out of it and be able to look at it as a business owner, not as a hobby, right? And I'll say this to you. If you aren't tracking your numbers, you're not treating your business like a business, guys, right? You're treating your business more like a hobby, okay? So, and as a hobbyist, we get emotional, but as a business owner, we remove the emotion. I wrote down number two, okay? Number two is anything that is tracked and measured improves. And I want you to really think about that. Anything that you track and that you measure, it improves. Now, why is that? Guys, I just started working out with a new trainer. His name is Michael Banks, right? He has a program called Body by Banks. And I love this guy. It's a 30-minute workout. I got to tell you, like when we first started, I went 30 minutes, man. 30 minutes, like I'm used to an hour. Get in there, stretch with my trainer, do everything. My old trainer was fantastic. I got in, and I swear to goodness, after 15 to 20 minutes, I'm sitting there going, how am I going to make it the next 10 minutes? And I love this. Up at 445, crushing it. Like you guys will see at Summit, man. I'm going to be down 20 to 25 pounds. And I'm committed. Myself, Tom Ferry, and Tom Hale have this, Coach Tom Hale have this big commitment. Who can get six-pack abs first, right? Well, the reason I bring up Michael Banks is this, and I would show this to you on my phone, but we're recording this on Zoom so you guys go back and listen to it. Every single day, every single meal, I have to take a picture of what it is that I'm eating, and I have to send it to Michael Banks. I have to send it to my coach. I have to send it to my personal trainer, right? Good, bad, right, wrong, indifferent. He's getting a picture of everything that I'm eating. Now, this weekend was my son's birthday party. I tell you what, normally I'd have like 2 pieces of birthday cake. My son Liam turned 12 years old. We had a whole weekend celebration for him, yesterday being the family celebration. And I sat down, had 1 small sliver of cake. Why a small sliver versus 2 big slices? Because I had to take the damn picture. I had to track, measure, monitor, and send it to somebody else that said, here is what I did. So look, guys, just like you keeping track of the numbers inside the hub, which is so easy and so simple now, anytime you're tracking something, it improves. And anytime you're tracking and measuring and reporting something, it improves with velocity. When you know your coach is watching, there's less of a tendency to cut out early. There's less of a tendency to actually, not do your hour of power. There's less of a tendency not to close as much because you've got that reporting. You've got that accountability, as someone else said. Okay. Now, here's number 3 that I want you guys to write down about the numbers. Write down numbers create awareness for you. Numbers create awareness. How does that work? Well, obviously, if you're not keeping track of, if you're not tracking and monitoring exactly what's taking place in your business, you may think you're doing well when you're not doing as well. You may think that you're putting in more hours for prospecting, that you're going on more appointments than you actually are. And then when you track and measure, you go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I wasn't doing as much as I was. Now, on the flip side, this is one of the key things, guys, that I really want you to get. On the flip side of this entire conversations, I want you to recognize numbers are bad. They're not the evil witch of the West, right? They're the wicked witch of the West. They can be really good to help you recognize that you're actually doing better than you thought that you were as well, too. So they can bring awareness to you in terms of maybe you need to over-index in some certain areas. Maybe you need to work on your listing presentation because your closing ratio isn't that good on your presentation. Maybe you need to work on, right? Gives you the idea in terms of what are the areas of my business that truly need attention. They bring awareness, like a flashlight shining onto that portion of the business. Otherwise, you're simply guessing, almost like throwing darts at a dartboard. Now, write down number 4. They allow you and your coach to see the reality of your behaviors versus your hallucination. It allows you and your coach to see the reality of your behaviors versus the hallucination of what you're actually doing. Again, there was a study that was actually done by, it was actually done by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And they did a study, and there's a bias that human beings have. Human beings have a tendency to think that they are better than they actually are. Most human beings think they're better looking than they are. Most human beings think that they're better drivers than they actually are. And to that same degree, a lot of us think that we may be doing better than in certain areas than we are. Now, I don't want the numbers to be a tool to actually have you beat yourself up. I want it to be an opportunity for you to look at and recognize what are the behaviors that I need to change in order to be able to make the adjustments, to be able to hit my goal, to be able to change the path that I'm on, earn more income, and ultimately produce greater results. Okay? Now, here's number 5. And then I want to talk to you guys about some ratios. Number 5 is this. The numbers actually give us an opportunity to be able to acknowledge and measure a sense of progress. They give you the opportunity. As I said earlier, I don't want you to relate to the numbers from the standpoint of, it's all negative. Because I think that there's a bias, negativity bias that we actually have as human beings to think that, all that these numbers are going to do is going to support us in our drunk monkey conversation that, oh my gosh, I'm totally screwing this up. I'm not doing as great of a job. But the reality is we as coaches, we want to use these to acknowledge you. You can do the same thing. You have the ability to be able to use these to acknowledge yourself, the growth that you've had, and also the progress that you're making. See, if we focus on our wins, we focus on our successes, we focus on quant, right? And it isn't just how we feel. We focus on the quant of, my gosh, you know what? It's only taking me, I was started this year off. It took me 75 conversations to be able to generate a transaction. Halfway through the year now, that's changed from 75 to 64. My gosh, I've gotten better. And it isn't just my qualitative analysis of how I feel. No, it's legitimate numbers that back up the fact that you have gotten more efficient and you've gotten more effective. And see, when you feel good and you have that win and you have that success, then what occurs is you release dopamine, you release serotonin, you start to feel great, and it gives you confidence to be able to take things on. Okay, new things on, greater challenges, bigger, dragons to slay, so to speak. Okay, so and then number 6, right? Here's the other key too. I said this to all of our coaches, and I'm going to say it to you. When you track and measure your numbers, it gives me, as the person, one of the individuals that is responsible for all of the coaches, to track and measure the effectiveness of how well you and your coach are working together. See, we're constantly, my friends, you got to know this. In the same way that your coach is holding you accountable, we are holding our coaches to a very high level of accountability to produce results for you, right? And so we want to know, as a company, is your coach hitting the spot? Are they moving you forward? And again, we want to know at Quant, we make decisions based upon data versus how you're feeling, because that can vary, again, from time to time. So 6 key things about the numbers. It removes emotion. Anything that is tracked and measured improves. Anything that's tracked and measured and reported improves with velocity. It creates awareness when you track numbers, and awareness is the first stage to transformation. Allows you and your coach to see the reality of your behaviors versus the hallucination that you may have. It gives you the opportunity to acknowledge where you have grown, where you have improved, give you a sense of progress. And number 6, it provides valuable feedback to you and your coach in terms of how effective you guys are working together and on your business plan and the progress that you're making as well too. Okay, so a couple of key things there. Now, what I want to do right now, I'm going to pull another sheet up here, is I want to talk to you about lead and lag measures. Okay, lead and lag measures. There are 2 types of numbers. There are numbers that are considered lead measures, and then there are numbers that are considered lag measures. Now, both are critically important. And I want you to understand this, because a lot of times we as business owners, and I'm going to talk to you guys as business owners, not as real estate agents, because again, I believe every single one of you is running a small business, multi-million-dollar small business. When you really think about that, I forget who it was I was on a coaching call with, but they weren't really tracking. Even I have individuals that don't track and measure numbers at the level that they need to. And I broke it down and I said, I know who this person is. This individual is going to sell close to 500 homes. Will remain anonymous. Still wasn't hitting all of the key numbers that I needed him to track. And I said, you're running right now a multi-million-dollar business, $100 to $150 million that your business is going to do in volume, and not to track and measure. I mean, think about that. Think about a business that has 150 million. Many of you are going, well, I'm not going to do $150 million of the volume. Yeah, but you may do, you may do 5 million, you may do 10 million. Imagine a $5 or $10 million small business that doesn't track their numbers. It just doesn't make sense, does it, guys? Right? So I want you to, as a small business owner, to understand two things: lag measures, lead measures. And what a lag measure is, and I want you to write this down. The lag measure is the end result of the work that you've done. And in real estate, the lag measures would be these things. Lag measure would be something along the lines of your gross commission, the listings that you've taken, the buyer sales and the listing sold, and the escrows open and the deals closed. So it's listings taken, listings sold, buyer sales, commissions earned, escrows, and closings. Okay, those are the end result. Those show us exactly what has happened, and we call them lag because they really lag behind about 90 days to 4 months from the lead measures. Now, guys, you got to track both. And I know what we like to see is we like to put our attention on the lag measures. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at all this income that I'm earning. Look at these deals that I'm putting together. That's awesome. But the only challenge is if all you do is track and measure the lag measures, you're not going to be able to predict what's going to happen in 60, 80, 90, 120 days. And that's really one of the key things about the numbers is when you understand them, it gives you the ability to be able to predict. They're a predictive measure as well, too. So the lead measures track more of the behaviors. So I guess an easy way to break this down would be this. Lag measures track the results. Lead measures track the behaviors. Lag measures track the results. Lead measures track the behaviors. Yeah, Steve Conley, I agree. Tracking in the hub makes tracking so much easier by far. Okay. Now, our lead measures, what would the lead measures be? The lead measures would be things like this, okay? Hours of power, right? That's a behavior. How many hours of power? How many hours are you prospecting? How many contacts or conversations have you had? How many leads have you generated, okay? How many listing appointments or buyer appointments did you set? Those are all on the front end and give us the ability to be able to say, okay, well, based upon these hours, based upon these conversations, based upon these leads, based upon these appointments, I now know that my 60 to 90 days out is going to have business or is not going to have business, okay? All right? So we've got to keep track of both lead and lag. Basically, you just got to use the damn hub, right? Because if you use the hub, right, then you're going to be 100% tracking both lead and lag. But I want you to be aware of that both of them are necessary, okay? One is the end result, and the other one is the behavior that will produce the future result, okay? Does that make sense, guys? Heart it up if you can see the difference between the two and the importance of tracking both of them. Beautiful. Now, last little bit here, my friends. See, you guys didn't know that numbers can be so much fun. Look at this. We're just having a blast talking about the numbers. Now, I think one of the most important things that we need to recognize in terms of numbers, like why do we track them? It isn't just for accountability, and it isn't just for the 6 things that I actually went through, right? It's more in terms of for you to know what parts of your business are actually performing and what parts are not performing, okay? What parts of the business are performing and what parts of the business are not performing. Now, I'm going super simple here and basic on the numbers today. I mean, I could dig really deep. We could start talking about the importance of cost per lead, your cost per appointment, when it comes to actually your leads. But I want to get you guys to understand the fundamentals first so that your coach and you can actually work on, expand a little bit more and talk about some of the more dig a little bit deeper into the numbers, where we get into your profit and loss, your cost per lead, your cost per appointment, right? Your cost per closing when it comes to your lead sources. But right now, I want to jump into what I call the efficiency models. And this is going to be something I will post for you guys to actually have on the both pages, both the Elite page and then also on the Core Plus page. And they're called the efficiency models. And the efficiency models give us an ability to be able to look at ratios. See, if you can track ratios, it gives you the ability, and you have a baseline. It gives you the ability to notice what parts of your business are underperforming, performing at expectation, or performing above expectation. And the ratios come down to, for me, when I'm coaching someone, 4 key ratios. Now, those of you that have teams that are watching this, you're going to love this because this is something you can take immediately over and start working with your team on based upon the numbers. For those of you that do not have a team, you're going to be able to use it for yourself, right? This is something I taught the coaches a couple of years ago. So the 4 parts to the efficiency models are this. Write down conversations per hour. The second part is conversations per lead. The third part is leads to an appointment. And the fourth part is closing ratio on appointments, specifically for listings. Specifically for listings, right? At least the ratio that I'm going to give you guys here today. So conversations per hour, how many people are you talking to per hour, right? How many conversations does it take you to get a lead, someone that says they're going to buy or sell within a specified amount of time, 60, 90 days, 120 days? How many leads does it take you to subsequently turn into an appointment? And then what's your closing ratio on your listing presentation? See, guys, as much as I want you working with buyers, right now in today's market, man, listings are golden, right? Heart it up for listings. Like the more listings that you control, the more that you control the market. So check it out, guys. I'm going to give you low, medium, and high efficiency. Low efficiency is this. Conversations per hour are 4 to 7. At a low efficiency agent is only making about 4 or 7 conversations per hour. Why is that? Well, they may not be following their script. They may be distracted, right? But see, once you know, let's say, for example, you know you're at like 4 or 5 conversations per hour, well, then you and your coach can work on, well, what's causing that number to be so low and what changes do we need to make? See, because if all we did was work with you on increasing the number of conversations you're having per hour, you get, instead of 4, you get 6. 6 over the course of 200 days, which is the average number of days that someone works, is another 6 times, what is that, 200? Holy cow. Or excuse me, 1 or 2 additional conversations times 200, 200 additional conversations. You could actually add 1, 2, 3 transactions to your business just from that one area. Does that make sense? Right? Even if you didn't get efficient in anything else, if you and your coach just worked on how do we increase the number of people you're talking to per hour. So it's 4 to 7 at low, right? At medium efficiency, the conversations per hour is 8 to 10. And at high efficiency, the conversations per hour is 12 plus. Why does that happen? Well, typically you could use technology, Mojo dialing systems, Vulcan 7, right? Predictive dialers. You're just boogieing a little bit more, the type of people that you talk to, etc. Okay? Now, let's go to conversations per lead. Conversations per lead. This means how many people do you talk to before you get a lead? At low efficiency, it's 18 to 20. Takes a lot of people. Why is that? Well, you may not be closing. You may have poor definitions of a lead. They may be a lot longer time. Now, I'm not talking about leads that come in through Boomtown or Commissions Inc. or anything along those lines. I'm talking about people that you spoke to in the past that now you're following back up on. Okay, so 18 to 20 at low efficiency. It drops down at medium efficiency to 12 leads to 1 appointment, and at high efficiency, it's 8 leads per appointment. Now, think about that for a second, guys. If you just got better, if all of a sudden we're tracking and measuring and we can see that you're, at 15 leads, it takes you to get 1 appointment, well, then you and your coach know we need to zero in right on that one thing, okay? Right on that one thing. And how do you improve that? Instead of guessing on all these other things, we know, okay, let's improve your lead conversion strategy. Let's talk to you, or you need to work on how to close a little bit more effectively. You may need to actually define and tighten up the definition of a lead. There's all types of things. But see, when we know that number, both as a coach and you personally, you're no longer throwing arrows at a dartboard. We're zeroing in specifically on one thing to be able to change, one area that can have the greatest improvement, one bit of pressure that can have great results versus working on other areas that may be performing at or above. Now, I'll give you 1 more or 2 more. Leads to an appointment. At low efficiency, it's 8 to 10. It takes you 8 to 10 leads to be able to get an appointment. At medium efficiency, it's 5 leads to 1 appointment. And at high efficiency, it's 3 leads to an appointment. Okay, so 8 to 10 at low, 5 at medium, 3 at high. All right, and again, sort of on the heels of the conversation I just had with you guys as well too. The better you are at lead conversion, because I believe all the money's made in conversion, guys, right? And what could be the hole here for you? Well, it's easy. You may not be actually following up enough times. You may not be having effective conversion conversations. You may not be closing, right? You may not have the right system. But see, if you don't have this baseline to compare it to, it makes it very difficult to know where the holes are in your system and to plug those holes. That's what these efficiency models do, my friends. They give you the ability to be able to plug the holes quickly with efficiency, right? And move you forward to the next area. And last but not least, closing ratios on an appointment, specifically listings. Low efficiency, you're at a 33% close ratio. That means on every 10 appointments you go on, you take about 3, okay? At medium efficiency, you're at about 50%. Okay, now understand the industry standard for listing appointments is somewhere around 30 to 33%. So that's a low efficient agent based upon our model. At medium efficiency, go on 10, you take 5. Now, our goal for every single one of you is that you get to high efficiency, which is 75%. So at high efficiency, you are at a 75% closing ratio on your listing presentations. How does that happen? Very simple, right? Better presentation, qualifying, sending out your marketing proposal in advance, okay? Handling objections effectively, pricing property, having that confidence. Guys, I just want you to understand, our goal is to help you change faster. You know that, right? We believe that you guys are going to make some changes naturally because that's who you are. You wouldn't have been aligned and would have come to actually be involved with Tom Ferry, myself, and all the great coaches. But see, our goal is how do we get you there faster? So as you're tracking and measuring lead and lag measures, going quantitative, not qualitative, comparing it to the efficiency models, it gives you the ability to know where you, and the awareness of know where you need to spend your time and what you need to do to improve. And then your coach can support you out on building the plan. So my wonderful and beautiful, amazing friends, I hope that this has helped. I would go back and I would listen to this and watch it over and over and over again. See, I'm going to end with what I started with. Numbers are the language of business. Numbers, my friends, are the language of business. And if you're running a business, not a hobby, right, which I know all of you are, or else you wouldn't be in coaching. If you're running a business, not a hobby, then you need to I challenge you, make a stronger commitment to tracking the numbers. And if you're already tracking, have a stronger commitment to understanding the efficiency models and ratios of the business so you know where to lean in, work hard, and where the opportunities for change. And